So protein is another topic that comes up frequently, especially if someone is eating a plant-based diet. They say, Dr. Stegall, what about protein? I want to make sure I'm getting enough protein. Obviously, if you're eating an animal based diet, you're going to get plenty of protein. If you're eating beef and fish and chicken, that's not really going to be a concern. But a plant-based diet requires a little more work to get enough protein. So when we talk about adequate protein, a good place to start is 1 gram of protein per day for every kilogram of body weight. So if you take since we're in America, I'll talk about converting from pounds. If you take your body weight in pounds, you divide that by 2.2, that gives you your body weight in kilograms, and that's the number of grams of protein to shoot for. So it's important to keep in mind that protein requirements do need to be met because protein's important. And if you're exercising, especially if you're strength training, you're probably going to need more than that in terms of protein. So the 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight is just a place to start. It's not a hard and fast rule, but that's at least going to prevent deficiency. And if you get a little bit more than that, that's totally fine. It's not going to be dangerous. But certainly if you're following some of the recommendations online for these high protein diets where you're getting 1 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're getting 200 to 400 grams of protein a day. That's way too much. You don't need that much at all. And that's probably going to be detrimental. So I think protein powder is a really good place to start in terms of supplementing protein. Yes, you're going to get some from plants. You're going to get some, especially from nuts and nut butters. Certainly, certain vegetables and grains, and certainly beans have protein. The problem is that these are what are called incomplete proteins. And so I do think complete proteins are important. Animal products tend to have complete proteins, but obviously if we're trying to restrict methionine, we need to be careful with that. So a high quality plant-based protein is often a good place to start if you're eating a plant-based diet. Something that's organic, a plant-based protein powder that's ideally a blend of different plant proteins is going to ensure that you're getting a complete protein. And this is a good place to talk about smoothies. I think a daily smoothie is a really great way to get just really high quality nutrition. The fact that you can get a good blender, a Vitamix, a Ninja, there's a lot of good blenders out there. Even if you just have a basic blender that costs $30 or $40, that'll still do the trick. The point being, if you have a good base, ideally a non-dairy base, an almond milk, coconut milk, something like that. You can even use water. You put some ice in there. You put whatever combination of fruits and vegetables you want in there. You can have a sweeter shake if it's more fruit based. You could do chocolate protein powder if you want to have a sweeter one with some nut butter. But regardless, you can add a good protein powder in there as well. If you want it to be sweetened, if the protein powder is not sweet enough, you can certainly add something like bananas, dates, even apples. They can be a good source of fruit-based sweetener. Stevia or monk fruit is a good natural sweetener you can add if you prefer. But basically, experiment with different recipes. There's so many recipes out there with smoothies. You're getting such high quality nutrition when you make a good smoothie. It's liquid, so it's easily digestible. It can certainly serve as a meal replacement. And it's even good for people who maybe have some digestive concerns. Maybe you're having trouble with solid food. Maybe you actually have cancer and you can't eat a lot. Smoothies are a great, easily digestible source for you. So make smoothies a priority if you can. I think it's a great health promoting tool in the arsenal. And then the last macronutrient to talk about is fat. For a long time, we were made to be scared of fat. We were told that fat makes you fat and fat gives you heart disease. We do know that fat is calorically dense, so we want to be careful in terms of how much fat we're eating. I don't think we need to eat a high fat diet, but we definitely want to make sure we're getting healthy fat. So we're talking about naturally occurring fats, nuts and seeds, as well as certainly nut butters and high quality oils like olive oil can be really good sources of healthy fat that not only are not harmful in terms of cardiovascular health, but actually have been shown to be helpful in preventing cardiovascular disease. So we do need some healthy fat. Of course, be sure to avoid trans fats, which are those man-made fats. We don't want those. But naturally occurring fat, you want to get some of that in your diet too. The next question is, what should you drink? Water obviously is important. A good rule of thumb for water is to drink about half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, shoot for about 100 fluid ounces of water a day. And as with protein, if you're really active, if you're sweating a lot, then you're going to want to have a little bit more water. But you want to make sure you're hydrated, but not too hydrated. You can drink too much water as well. But if you're shooting for that guideline of about half your body weight in ounces, that's a really good place to start. Things like coffee, black tea, herbal tea, those are great as well. Especially green tea, matcha, essiac tea. Those are really anti-cancer teas. Coffee is very anti-cancer. There's a lot of research on coffee and its anti-cancer effect. They used to think that was simply due to the caffeine, but they've actually done research on decaffeinated coffee, and it actually has an anti-cancer effect as well. So certainly with tea and coffee, you want to be careful with caffeine content. If you are sensitive to caffeine, opt for decaf. Certainly don't drink caffeine too late in the day because we don't want it to be up at night once you get good sleep. But these are good beverages to choose from as well. If you need to sweeten anything, I think stevia is a great sweetener. Again, organic if possible. And then certainly, I think all of you watching know this, but avoid soft drinks, whether they contain sugar or high fructose corn syrup or even artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame. Avoid those. They're doing nothing good for you. Just avoid those. Another question I get a lot is about alcohol. So is alcohol okay? The scientific consensus seems to be, for cancer prevention, men should not have more than 2 alcoholic drinks per day, and women should have no more than 1 alcoholic drink per day. And that's really not just for cancer prevention. That's just for general health overall, that you shouldn't drink more than that. And we talk about 1 alcoholic drink, that's 5 ounces of wine, 12 ounces of beer, or 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. But it's important to note that alcohol has been shown in studies to increase the risk of multiple types of cancer. Cancers of the digestive tract, especially, mouth, throat, larynx, esophagus, liver cancer rates seem to go up with drinking, as we know, and then even breast cancer in women tends to be at a higher rate, higher risk for women who drink a lot of alcohol. So my recommendation here is to be smart. I don't think you need to be a teetotaler. If you don't drink, there's no reason to start drinking. But certainly, if you are a social drinker, it's probably okay. But just be aware that alcohol has been linked to cancer, and so that increase does go up. That risk does go up as we increase the amount of alcohol. So a drink or so is probably okay a day, but it's probably not helping either. So choose wisely on alcohol.